I'm Marie Piazza, I'm your health coach, and I have a special guest with us tonight with me on the Sexy, Fit, Rich, and Fabulous Entrepreneurs, which I think that's what we are. And I think if you're a wannabe, like I'm a wannabe too, I'm trying to get there totally, then this is the right place for you to be, the right show. I have a special friend who I've known for a long time, Stefania Olivares, and she's Italian, which is all Italian women are always beautiful and sexy. They don't have to do anything about it. And she's probably one of those people too. So we're going to discuss today about being an entrepreneur, going for what we want to do that we love in our work, and trying to get a balance with our life and live in a holistic fashion that serves a purpose for us and the world. We were in discussions the other day about this exact topic. And Stefania is, I call her an artist when it comes to food, healthy food, and she's an artist. If you saw the pictures that I posted on the Facebook page, you'll see how beautiful her food is. And I bet it's just as delicious, but it's just gorgeous. And we're going to talk about how she got into that. So Stefania, welcome. And I don't even have a name for this show. It just kind of evolved by itself. And we're calling it Sexy, Rich, Fit, and Fabulous Entrepreneurs for now until I can get a name for it. But welcome to my world.
Thank you, Marie. It's nice to be here. I'm honored.
So, Stefania, tell us a bit more. Let's one more thing before we tell everybody. I'm in St. Lucia and Stefania's in Barbados. We both used to live in St. Lucia at the same time. So now we're on two different islands, which is so fantastic with technology that we can meet on Facebook again and get connected. So Stefania, tell me what you've been doing in terms of your holistic health and balancing your lifestyle got you to this point. We'll go back in a moment, but what are you doing right now?
Right now, what I'm doing, I'm trying to create a balance in my food life. Basically, my journey has been always involved with food, from eating all the gourmet foods as a child growing up, traveling a lot, having grown up in the hospitality industry. Food has always been a huge component in my life. And of course, we all have struggles with it, because the good things are always normally the most prohibitive. Therefore, there's always this notion that in order to get healthy or to lose weight or to cure any ailment in your body, you need to get on a diet, go on a detox, and basically cut out all the yummy stuff. So my journey actually began when a few family members of mine actually were ill, and myself included. And so I just started researching thanks to the internet. As you know, living on islands, we really depend on the internet and we use it a lot. Rather than go to a library, you just carry on reading. You start reading about this or that effect of one food. Because the principle starts that if a little tiny pill that a doctor or anyone can prescribe for you can do so much to your body, then every single mouthful of food is another drug and will obviously affect your body in a certain way. So again, because I was looking to keep food included in my world, and not as a salad or or just steamed veggies, I wanted it to be as artistic, as gourmet, and as eye-catching as all the Michelin star restaurants would present to you. And so I just started.
Let me ask you a question. Let me stop you there. So you're saying that if our food, because when people try to be healthy, the problem is that they feel healthy is boring and dry looking and tasteless. So they are not drawn to that. But you're I know there's a bit of a lag, so you're going to hear me after.
Yes.
So I was saying about how your food is very beautiful and more enticing, because when we think about healthy food, we think about it being just a carrot or a cucumber or some salad.
Exactly. And so, of course, everyone is put off, by the minute you tell someone that they need to get healthy or they need to take certain foods out, everybody goes into panic mode, including myself. and then it becomes a feeling of deprivation. And so you just carry on. Sorry.
You can take it. We have a life, you know, we're mothers and we have kids and we have people that call us times. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah. So because of this, I started investigating and looking into what I could eat myself to keep the palate on my plate and so forth. And so that's how I discovered healing through foods. First of all, I discovered the Anne Wigmore Institute, which is based on the healing properties of a living foods lifestyle. So that involves a lot of sprouting, a lot of soaking of nuts, basically living foods, a very raw food diet. Then that was quite drastic, although it did heal me from depression, anxiety, and plantar fasciitis. But it was what I would say a little unsustainable unless I had a drastic thing to cure. So I was exposed to Ayurveda forms of cooking, and then raw food, and juicing, and detoxes. And so from doing different classes and looking up on the internet, it led me to the Matthew Kenny Raw Food Chef course. And that is exactly where I'm at the moment. He, Matthew Kenny, who is actually amazing, has enabled me to eat the healthiest foods, but still eating raw on a plate, even though he does some cooked versions as well, which I will also go into. But that was amazing.
Okay, so personally, as a personal trainer and a health coach, food is very important to me, and exercise. And I always pride myself on really being my first guinea pig when it comes to trying something. I'm not one to try fad diets, but I certainly, if I see everybody on veganism or raw food, I will investigate it and try it myself first. I won't dismiss it, I will try it. And I did actually go on a raw food vegan combination, mostly raw food, and I keep that up for 18 months. But it was really difficult for me. I just couldn't eat enough food. That was for me. And so I balance now with raw food and vegan food, and I have some animal product, but not red meat. So I found it a balance I like. But it was the best time I ever had being on the raw food. It was very simple for me to follow, but I know it because at the time I was ready to do that. Had you asked me 2 years before or 5 years before, I would never imagine that I would even entertain that. So I'm just saying this for some people who are watching thinking, oh my God, they're a bunch of wackos and they're going woo-woo with raw food. That there's always a time that you come to something and you're ready for it. It may not be, maybe listening to us right now. It may not be today. It may not be next week. It may not be next year, but they'll come full circle to what we're talking about right now. So keep your heart and your ears open to what is not your normal. What do you think about that?
Yes, I mean, mine has been a journey, and it's a continuous journey. I started off with wanting to eliminate certain elements. So, for example, tinned foods. Now, being Italian, tinned tomatoes are a huge part of Italian cooking. And so from an Ayurveda cooking class that I took, it just opened my eyes to different ways of processing different foods. And so therefore today I no longer use tinned tomatoes. I take a bag of lovely red tomatoes, I scald them, blend them, and there you go. The next thing was to slowly reduce dairy. Because I read up about the negative effects of dairy on our systems and struggled with allergies. So slowly I learned to make nut milks, seed milks. And then again, thanks to, say, my Matthew Kenny course, I learned to really tweak them to a point that even my 13-year-old boy now says to me, Mommy, can you make your almond milk, please? So being also a mom of 3, it's hard to, as you progress on your journey, to tell your children, well, no, you can't eat this anymore. You've got to eat this now. So I included them, especially my boy. As you know, he's still with me. We watched different documentaries, and so he made his own choices, and he's very happy to slowly take the journey.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because with our children, when usually the moms in the family go on a diet or change a food plan, everybody seems to feel they suffer because they're forced to eat, be deprived as the person who's trying to lose the weight. One of the things I did learn to do was I never really, my kids or my family were never on a diet. Whatever I was eating, I made them. And so sometimes I would prepare something for myself. They always had delicious food and healthy food, but I'd add extra things that were more to my suited me, and then I would do extra for them. And they would have some. They'd either go yuck or, oh, that tastes funny. And then slowly they would come around. So much so that my second son, Dario, he's been a vegan, I think it's going to be a year, him and his girlfriend. And I would never thought he would ever do that. But he is very into it, and he's now touting things to me, which is nice, because but he's finding his own way to experiment at a younger age. I didn't do any of this stuff until I was about 40 or 45, I would say, after my third boy. So I think including your family and not depriving them, but giving them the option is the best way to keep peace, because if you can't have support, you will not last very long with trying to change the way that you eat and have some peace with your food, so there's no war. So the question I have for you is, do you think healthy, sexy, rich entrepreneurs, life is always perfect? They eat well, they sleep well, they do all the things that they want others to do.
You mean, are they perfect? Hell no.
Yes.
We're human too. You know, you have to have a good balance. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going out with some friends and somebody throws some champagne or a nice glass of wine, I mean, you know, it's life too. It's okay to have it the way I want to live my life. You don't have to be drastic. It's something.
Yeah, I think that's right. You're right, because we have to think of in moderation. And I do things for a season or a reason. And I choose whether I'm not going to do something or whether I am going to do something. And I'm not perfect, and I don't want to be perfect. I want to have a choice. When I work with clients, we create actually a plan that's good for them. Not just what I want to see, but what they can actually sustain to get the results that they want. And when I'm talking about busy entrepreneurs, people like you and I who are working as health coaches and chefs, and we're sharing our message with the world. So we spend a lot of time, I know I do, on the computer, worrying about funnels, lead pages, sending emails out. How do we get on the platform, on the online platform? Because there's so many people on there who seem to be doing similar things, and they're crushing it, and they look perfect, they look wonderful, and you wonder, can they really be that way? Do they have a crazy time where the kids have made a mess of the house and you have to clean up and do the dishes, even though you might have some help? I'm just saying, entrepreneurs work hard, but I noticed that with the women that I'm working with, they come to me when they've hit a blow. I'm tired. I can't do any more. I'm not even taking care of myself. I'm taking care of everybody, but not me. And it's not because they can't, it's because they haven't put themselves as a priority. That's my goal in terms of entrepreneurs, just like us who are over 45, who want to live a better life first. It's not selfish. It's actually necessary, and it's a good example for your kids and your family. I know it's lagging, so yeah. Did you hear me?
Yes. Yes, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, we must put ourselves first. And there are moments when you just want to throw the towel in, because there are certain moments when you look at your list of things to do, and then other things pop in, and you just think to yourself, well, how do I do it all? Yeah. And there's certain things that need to be done. And so you just have to go on with it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So I want to ask you, can you think back of your relationship with health, self-care, and work balance when it actually started?
I think I've always been health conscious, but now looking back, I realize that with the information that was available years ago, which was really only through books that you chose to read or magazine articles, it was hard to research into things that might have been your curiosity. So of course, with the coming of the internet and having the time to access it, it's really opened the world of health, even to us, home moms, just Googling things or researching certain topics. So with that, I think at the time, my father 14 years ago had a stroke and went through, let's just put it, a not very nice time. And at the time, I started looking for different ways to try and heal him where medicine couldn't. So from one article, you read the other, and then eventually you learn. And as you learn, I, for myself, cannot unlearn what I do learn. And so when you find out about the really negative properties of, say, a particular food, and you just think, oh gosh, well, hang on a minute, what do I do? Because yes, healthcare is quite limited, especially living on these islands. So you just want to sort of prevent things rather than have to cure them once they arise. So I guess that's one thing that is that is a priority in my life.
Do you think that I agree with you? I think I've also been very health conscious most of my life because I started off doing a lot of sports at school. And I never really had to think. I don't know if we can think back. We've got some people on the call here with us. I don't know if you can think back to when at school we never thought about food as getting us fatter or anything like that. I think at the very beginning when we were young children, we just ate what we were given, and then we went out and played, and then we got some more food, and we got treats, we got sweets, but we didn't get too much. We were kind of restricted. And we didn't get any big bags of anything to sit on the sofa with. But later on, as you grow into a teen and your body changes, then it becomes on show and everybody's looking to see how big you are or what's changed. And then you become self-conscious and you believe that food is making those changes. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because of my health coaching course, as you know, you've done it too, it was very interesting to have to experiment with different foods. And so my journey has been incredible in terms of processed foods. When you think about the amounts of drugs there are in these processed foods and the effects that they have, I, from firsthand, noticed the different effects from having tried different things, from going into a detox to going into a whole food plant-based diet to throwing in some more animal, but I just eat fish now, to then maybe feeling like, oh, I can't be bothered and I just eat a load of crap, because I do that too, and then just feeling your body literally deteriorate. You get tired, you have no energy, you can't think straight. So yeah, it's a huge. It has a huge impact on us.
What would be the 3 top things that you would tell people listening in that are very, very beneficial for you that you do to this day? That's like your best practices, your rituals, that even though you may fall off the wagon and you may not get it all perfect, that you really believe works for you if you can keep them going.
I think number 1 is drinking loads of water. When I say loads, I say up to 2 liters of water per day. So that's number 1. And number 2, the thing that is the choice of foods that are in my plate. The more whole the foods are, the better you're going to feel. So sometimes if it's too much work to create something difficult, it doesn't matter. Stick to whole foods, plant-based if you can. And, you know, if you're going to keep eating meat or fish, then try and choose the more organic meats, wild fish rather than farmed fish, things like that. And then the third is some form of exercise. It doesn't have to be this, as pushed as some people might push it. It's something you love, to do something you love. So for me at the moment, it's yoga and swimming. So those are the three things. Find something you love and do it.
Wonderful thing to have, but we have so much information. I find that sometimes it's difficult for people to know what to stick with consistently, and they're always chopping and changing before it can actually work. I've found as I get older, I know we have the 80-20 rule. 80% is food and 20% is exercise. But that 20% of exercise is so important. You can't do without that equation. But what I'm trying to say is that we have too many choices. We end up doing none of them very well for very long. I found for me, less is more, and to be consistent. So I really focus on my food without being stressed, and I do my exercise. Sometimes it's just minimum. I had a health club. You know that already. I had a health club for about 20-something years. And I wasn't forced, but I taught a lot of classes, 12 classes a week. I did spinning, body pump, yoga, Pilates, everything you can think of. So really, I grew into my work, keeping me fit and healthy. And I had to eat properly because I had to expend so much energy in the classes. But I found when I closed the club, I shouldn't have been shocked, but I was shocked that because I was used to doing so much, and I actually cut what I did in half, the weight that's been waiting to go on me for years started to pile on. It didn't pile on straight away, but it started to pile on. So a year later, I am 30 pounds heavier. And it wasn't just the weight, it was just that feeling of feeling tired. And then absolutely nothing fits the same anymore, even fits. You don't know, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, because technically I always eat well. I was not pigging out on food. I would be very happy to say if I was eating chips and cookies and cake and this, then I deserve that. But I was just eating really good. I was eating healthy, but I wasn't making a consistent effort like I did before with the times that I ate. And I wasn't making portions on my plate and which foods affected me the most, which carbohydrates didn't go with me, which flour products didn't work for me. I didn't look at the actual portion, but now I went full circle to find exactly what works for me. And that's why I urge people to do, is to find out what works for you by process of elimination. And then you can cut the cravings and you create the plan that works. But it will change. It cannot stay the same for 5 years. You cannot count calories for 5 years. You cannot have, 2 pieces of broccoli. Your body changes, your energy changes, so you adjust to that change. And so it's not easy, because I was reading an article from Chalene Johnson about that we're all in midlife getting bigger and bigger, and we're not weight loss resistant. We have to take a look at our gut bacteria and how we digest our food, our sleep, certainly our hydration, our sleep, and our hormones. Especially if you're over 45, your hormones play a big, big role in where you're going to pack that weight on. Especially if you're going through, we're not going to talk about that today, menopause or perimenopause. But I think best practices are to keep it simple, just like you said. I wish I could do that beautiful food that you do, but I try to keep my food colorful. How do you make your food like that? I want to know.
Oh, how do I do that? Well, a lot of it is, the raw food that I do is very much down to using a dehydrator, a lot of chopping, and I have an amazing gadget called a Vitamix. I don't know, do you know the like the Rolls
Yes, I have
Royce of blenders? Oh my goodness, I just love it. And then my juicer. And so with that, I just play around. You know, I'll make a juice, and then I'll take the pulp, I'll whip it in the Vitamix, add a little flaxseed, then after, little coconut water, spread it on the dehydrator sheet, and there you go, I have some crackers. It's you know what? When I was introduced to it, I thought, oh my God, this is so difficult. But then I thought, no, it's just a mindset. Because how long does it take to make lasagne? It takes a while, because you've got to do your bechamel, you've got to do your ragu, you've got to do your tomato sauce, you've got to put it all together. I mean, it's time consuming. So doing the dehydrator is just about getting reorganizing your kitchen, and then doing it. I'm not 100% raw. I'm on a journey. And like you said, we evolve. For now, I eat a lot of raw food. Of course, living in the tropics, that's not difficult. I don't crave hot meals. I just crave very hydrating meals. And then again, the colors. The dehydrator keeps all the nutrients in the foods and keeps them in a really vibrant color. So, and then of course, art. We're all creative. You're creative. You know, as entrepreneurs, you have creativity in you. So you can throw it in your food. Whatever you're doing, you throw creativity into it. And so,
I agree with you totally. I think my superpower, and I'm going to ask you what your superpower is. I have a superpower when it comes to food. Okay? You know, I'm married to an Italian. We go back and forth to Rome. And so I was in shock coming from London to go to Italy, and how people have like an affair with food. It's like a passionate affair. Everybody's, everything's like the passion of the plate, and more and more. But I never noticed that everybody was really overweight. They knew what to eat when, and they really spent a lot of time talking with each other. Fill up on the pasta, because I just kind of loved it, and everybody would say, oh, we've got other things coming along next, and I was already full up because I didn't